didn't go through the emergency entrance because we didn't plan that one out. We walked through the main doors and the receptionist greeted us and asked what she could do for us. And I told her that I was in labor and my water broke. And she just gave me a quick one over and was sort of shocked and asked if I needed a wheelchair. And I just politely declined and asked her which way the maternity room was, and she pointed the way and told us where to go. And I just remember the whole way as we walked down this winding maze of a hallway with declines and my big belly, and walking down this hall and my belly's pulling me and I'm just giggling. It shocked me. It's like, what are you laughing about? And all I could say is, what else am I supposed to do? He was amused that I wasn't stressed and panicked and I was so at ease with everything. So we finally make it to the maternity section and we buzz in and it's a locked door and the lady asks how she can help us, and I told her my water broke, I'm in labor. Did you go through the ER entrance? No. Did you check in? No. Oh. And here I'm standing at the door like, just open the door, I'm having a baby. So I repeat again, my water broke, I'm in labor. So she buzzes me in and lets us in, and we're gruffly met at the nurse station by this nurse who's exasperated because I'm the second or third person who's made it down to the maternity ward without going through proper protocol. As a first-time mother and a first-time patient at that hospital, it was sort of discerning that they would be so strict and not tailor to me and just say, okay, come on, welcome, let's get this going. So I remember her getting us to her room and the whole time complaining, and we get in this room and my contractions are coming really hard and I'm uncomfortable and I get changed into my gown. They prepare to hook me up to machines and they're calling registration to call me so that I can give them my information over the phone in the midst of my contractions. And as I'm laying on the bed, she remembers the room they put me in doesn't have hookups for any of the monitors. So I need to go across the hall. The room I'm in isn't sufficient. At this point, my pain level, not so much pain, just uncomfortable when you're in contractions, and I was trying and struggling to get into a position that best soothed me. And try as much as Alex did, I didn't want him at that moment. I would rather preferred grabbing the arm rail and holding my own head through the entire process. It was a very personal thing compared to what I thought it would be. The movies where you imagine yourself holding your partner's hand and looking lovingly into their eyes for support. I just curled into myself a little bit and coached myself through it. And he was there, but it was me. But she wanted me to get up and walk to this other room. And I told her if she wanted me to go, they were going to have to take the whole bed. So they had to call another nurse down and wheel me across the room and get me strapped up to an IV and the monitors. And at this point, I was already dilated 5 centimeters. And they get registration through the phone and call, and through gritted teeth and caught breath, I'm giving my name and my social security number and my insurance information. And they're still trying to find my doctor. Nowhere to be found. And that was stressful. Within a half hour, I was already at 8 centimeters, and the whole time I could tell I was ready. And they kept telling me not to push. I remember the frustration I felt because I told them I was ready, and they didn't believe me. And then at my insistence, they would check again. And at the final stretch, I told them again that I was ready and needed to push. And she declined and said there's no way. And then when she looked, she said I was already 9 centimeters and or whatever the thing is, and 0 a base, and that he was ready to go. So the nurse on hand was prepping me and get everything ready, and essentially she delivered my son. The doctor who was filling in for my position ended up coming in at the last minute. But I am amused looking back at it now because it was a struggle. I wasn't pushing the way they wanted me to. They kept telling me to push like I was having a big poop. instead of pushing with my face, and I would clench my teeth and I would push. And it told me later that they were concerned that I wasn't going to be able to do it, especially going natural and not even having time to have any numbing agents down there, nor do I think I would have chosen them, but I didn't think that it would be that hard. I remember the last leg of it being a burning sensation. That was the most painful. The contractions were a controlled pain, but the force of pushing him and bringing him out was the most sharp pain, and it burned. But they were concerned I wouldn't get him. And when he finally came out, I requested that he come to me right away. So they wiped his face, and then he went breast to chest, and I held him, and he got to be with me for 2 hours, and he nursed before they did any of his medicine and weighed him and did all the traditional procedures. And they worked, and it took probably another 30 minutes to get my placenta out. And within 3 hours span from start of my contractions and water breaking, my son was born, which is nothing I could have ever anticipated, because my sister had a 19-hour labor, and with my brothers, my mom was in labor for 20 hours plus, and I expected a long, grueling experience, and never did I think that I would leave my house and so soon have my son. I anticipated going, checking in, getting registered, going and grabbing lunch and coming back in a couple of hours. And I remember laying there with my son at my chest, the doctors having just left, and the next thing I know, my father and stepmom are walking through the door. It's casual as any day, and neither of them knew I had had my son at this point. My stepmom comes in talking about the stuff she got me at the gift shop and how she wanted to know how I was feeling, and the dawn on my father's face that I had actually already had the baby was just astonishing. The shock and the joy, because he was leaving the next day to go visit my oldest sister in the Outer Banks, and she prepared to have her second son. It was just surreal. The whole experience for me was easy compared to what I imagined it to be. After Zeke was born and I was mended up and he's taken off to the different procedures, I was up and out of bed. I was cleaning and preparing for guests, and I opted to stay in the hospital for 3 days because he was born on a weekend, and I wanted to stay through Monday in order to see the lactation consultant.